Okay guys, so here we go for US turn 4. I keep forgetting to show this. Actually, I'll show that after US4, so we'll be at the end of the turn. Let's see, Japan bought a fighter, a bomber, 2 infantry, and artillery. Did some various attacks, whatnot. But as you can see, the big thing is he moved some guys up here. He's got a destroyer to block these guys from going straight into it. These guys can't quite reach there, but we do have 3 fighters that can reach there, and he's got 2 surface ships with the transport. So I do think we're gonna try and take them out. We're gonna use our subs to take out this destroyer. So all he has left is a sub up there, a sub down here, and then of course his Air Force. So the Air Force is starting to become a growing concern. He's got 2 bombers and 5 fighters. So a lot of surface. Thankfully we do got this surface coming in, and we got these guys coming in. But the other thing too here is, at first I thought he doesn't have enough to stack West Russia 5 when I did all the calculating and all that fun stuff. But all of these fighters will be able to move in here on his Japan 5, and he'll be fine. So not to concern. He has nothing to really be too concerned about. The only good news is he'll have to stay there, West Russia 6, or let me have a 1, 2, 3, 5 fighter shot at whatever he has living there, which is probably worth it as well, because he'll have like 4 fighters sitting there, so, and an infantry. So I probably wouldn't take that shot anyway. So he's gonna do okay. He's gonna be able to get in here 5, in here 6, and we're gonna hope we can hold Berlin on 7. He's got a lot of firepower coming, so we shall see. So, any case, since we are throwing our fighters in here against his fleet, we're gonna go ahead and plan on building 2 fighters. Hopefully, be able to leave the carrier here. It's a possibility that we may have to move the carrier to catch some fighters, though. So they'd have to start in West USA, but here would be a better sea zone, because then they can fly all the way over to 61, which is hopefully ideally where we can get them next turn, so that they're here US5, so that US6 they can fly into Moscow for the G7 timing. A lot of hopefuls in there, but we'll see. Meanwhile, I am going to build a transport, and we're going to go ahead and build an industry complex on the Philippines. He did pick off my man that was on the Philippines with the bomber, so I do not have him anymore, because I was thinking about maybe actually getting both these islands this turn, but I think we're going to go ahead and focus on getting Borneo. I know I'm using a pointless cruiser, but that's because if things go bad up here, I'll be able to pull my battleship and still be able to hold things down. I'm going to wait to see how we distribute all our surface ships and where that transport goes after we find out how things go up here. Let's see, we do want to do right on into there. I haven't decided, but I think I'm going to put those 2 destroyers there and let him do a bomber fighter attack on my 2 destroyers and probably take out one of them. I really have no other plans for this transport, so it's not that big a deal. The only loss is the potential of using those destroyers to help with the fleet build for the UK. Okay. It's a thought I hadn't considered. So one of the things I'm running into issue here is I didn't think about the fact that Japan's going to have these ground units, this tank, and then all this air that he can hit Moscow with. Like I said, my bomber's almost a losable piece. So I think we're going to do an airstrike on this guy. And that'll give me a chance. I'm thinking things through here. I wish the bomber could reach here, because that's where I really would like to do an airstrike. But he cannot, so you know what we can do is airstrike this one. So what I'm looking at is I'm wanting to. No, it doesn't really matter which one of those I hit. I'm wanting to minimize how much I use of my Russian infantry here. I definitely want to use these two, though, for taking things. So if I take out that guy, one goes there. If I take out this guy, one goes there anyways. Let's go that route. You know what? I'm changing my mind as I talk. Once again. Because this guy is the one that can threaten hitting Moscow. He can't hit Moscow, so he's not as much of a threat. Alright. So killing the carrier of Japan is kind of important because that'll limit what all cruiser infantry. Thank you. Okay, there we go. All right. So killing the killing the carrier is an important part because I don't have to stack this as much. So bombers can reach here 1 2 3 1 2 3, but the fighters 1 2 3 they can only go one more spot, and so they need a carrier to catch them. And this carrier can go 1 2 down to here. So it would take 2 fighters out of the threat on the 47 if I can take out this carrier. So oh. Ha, ha, ha. Breathing, 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 breathing. Okay. Alright, here we go. Oh. I actually wanted to lose one fighter. Oh well. More to that. That just means I have to move my carrier off of here, and I can't get 2 extra fighters down that way. So I'll only be able to get 3 fighters down to here for US7 versus 4 fighters making that. But I can't complain. I shouldn't complain. You know, living pieces is living pieces, right? Alright. And I certainly can't complain about having the Navy out of the picture. Okay, good job, bomber. Alright, and he didn't hit, thankfully. fighter and bomber lived. We'll leave him back. We'll use the US guy after all. I was going to switch him to try and maximize the dead zone of West Russia, but he easily can hit West Russia with the Japanese fighters, so there's nothing there to dead zone. Alright, I believe we can send 2 of them back to here. 1 to here. Let's see, that's going to give him a... It gives me 4 versus 1, 2, 3, and a bomber. I mean, he's got better odds on it, to be perfectly honest. Let's see, so the 2 bombers can hit here. I believe I need at least 2 here. So, yeah. This gives me like a 40% chance to live and a 60% chance to live here. It does give him advantage up here where he could have a profitable battle. 2, 3, 4. Yep, I can't land them here, and I could bring on my fleet up here. But if I do that, I think this through. What if instead, I really didn't want that fighter to live. It's throwing me off. What if we did this? How much do we need to send here? So that gives me 9 units. And he'll have 2 bombers, 5 fighters like 1. Oh wait, this fighter probably can't reach him, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. He can't reach him, so that's 1 less. So these guys, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 fighters, 2 bombers, and a sub. And it's a battle he doesn't really even want to take, to be perfectly honest. So what do we need? I'm taking a look at my calculator here real quick. A battleship, 2 carriers, and a destroyer really is with the sub. So we got 3, 6 boats, 9 planes. That's this be a little bit more safe. And then he could cycle back around next time to grab some people, right? Ooh, you know what? We'll even move him here where he could grab him and just drop and sacrifice maybe, or he can cycle down here. I did build that transport, by the way, that I'm going to put in 11 for backup to the Africa situation. Alright. Let's go with that. It's kind of stinky that they're there. That's not a great place for them to start at, but because they can land into this area, but they can't reach quite far enough to where we want them. I wanted them here where they could go to there. Anyways, wanna. Not gonna have a. Alright, since we're in turtle mode at this point for um, Russia, I think we are going to go ahead and get us an AA out of it. And we're going to go there, there, there. 1, 2, 3. Does that leave me what I need? I need to go check my notes on what I need to have in Caucasus here. Coming up on G5. I want 18 infantry, 5 artillery. Well, not artillery, that's right. We're not building artillery. I was thinking about building artillery. We want 20 infantry, 3 artillery. We got 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I need 1 less. I need 1 more infantry though. So 14, 18, 20 infantry, 3 artillery. We'll have our 3 tanks, we'll have our 4 fighters. Oh, just go with it. I'm just doing it. Thank you, fighter. Thank you. Okay, that was the most important thing, was killing the infantry. Even more so than the the territory, so. Two hits, come on, bam! Whiff! Crap. Yeah, wasn't what I wanted, but... Alright. So... 14, 17, 24... Wait. 14, 17, 24, 28, 30 units. That's what I need. About my Moscow. Alright, well... Gets us Moscow down to 40%, so... Actually, probably slightly better than 40% because I had an infantry instead of artillery. Oh well. It is gonna be what it's gonna be. I don't like this. I'm going to be flying fighters in here from UK, but still not a big fan of that. But, alright. Alright guys, things are about to get very bloody and interesting here. So as you can already see, there's no units left in Moscow, which is kind of what I was afraid of, but I do have a card up my sleeve still. So the part I don't know, and this is the hard part, right, is I don't know how aware my opponent is of the Victory City situation. So we're sitting at 8. I need 2 more. He left France open. And right now, Shanghai is empty. So he has no destroyers left since we took care of that. He can't block me from attacking with my 2 transports. So I have a guaranteed attack on Shanghai here at the very least of 2 infantry and artillery and 3 fighters. Now he could put a destroyer in here and I'd have to fight through that, and he could put boats in here, but I got enough boats I could fight through that. So we'll have 3 fighters, 2 infantry, and artillery. We'll have the cruiser and battleship as well if he doesn't put a destroyer in there to block the bombardment. But I imagine he'll at least do that, because I imagine he's going to think about protecting his factory, which is an important part too, because I want that factory. If this game continues on, I want that factory for US. So here we go. So that leaves Moscow here as the question mark, right? So currently he has an artillery, a tank, 4 fighters and a bomber that can hit there. So 6 units altogether rolling 3s and higher, but only one that can, or well, 2, excuse me. Sorry, I forgot about him. That one rolling a 2. So that's 7 units, excuse me. With 6 of them rolling 3 or higher, and only 2 of them able to occupy. What can UK put in there? We got 2 fighters here that can get there. We got a fighter here that can get there. We've got a fighter here, and we have a fighter here. I can't hit here, 2, 3, 4, and get to Moscow. So this tank is going to get a freebie if I decide to send all my fighters. So I can have five UK fighters sitting in here. Well, the other thing I can do along the way is we can go ahead and hit this guy, though. 1, 2, 3 with 3 fighters. And at least take out the artillery. Maybe risking a fighter. So we'll have 4 or 5 fighters sitting in Moscow versus a tank, 4 fighters, and a bomber. Still, I mean, if I have 5 fighters, I think it lowers him down to like a 55 or 60% chance of taking Moscow. Destroying all his air force, though, in doing so, which, of course, that's great opportunity for the Allies building up here. And he's already down to just 3 German fighters left. So there's good opportunity cost in that. But here's the other thing. So if Japan takes this, which is tempting, there's partially a temptation to say, well, let's just let Japan have it, right? In a KJF, Japan having Berlin is not a bad thing. It's going to make things awkward for them, especially when I'm already dominant on the coast, and I can probably take this guy from them. So it'll be awkward for Japan at the very least if they held on to it. But I still have this infantry fighter, and the best case he can have is a tank sitting there. And in getting there, he had to use all his air up to get it, right? And that's important because if I have my 4 fighters there, that's important. 1 infantry, 1 fighter, sacrificing the fighter. Oh, I think I had it up. What was it, like a 77% chance of winning and taking the territory. Let me pull that again real quick. 1 infantry, 1 fighter versus 1 tank with sacrificing the fighter is a 77.4% chance of ah, so that's a 77.4% chance of taking the territory. Profit doesn't really matter at that point, right? Now, that means he sent all that air, so none of that other than the bomber, 1, 2, 3, well, not even the bomber, none of that air then would be able to land in Shanghai. He would be able to put in artillery, a tank, a fighter, and a bomber in a Shanghai. Well, 6 units attacking without a bombardment is an 80% chance. I'll just save the math for you guys to win it. And this is free. So I then had to take this. So I'd had that 77% chance of taking that, 80% chance of taking that, 100% chance of taking that, game over, because Karelia is in Russia's hands. Game over at the end of US5. The other option is if Japan doesn't take Moscow, they don't attack, they don't take Moscow, and they come back and reinforce because they realize, hey, we're going to lose on Victory City, then I can move all of this in with no Japan air surviving if he did a well, yeah, I don't even know what he'd do there. Even without the air, U.S. air or UK air surviving, if all we did was build 6 units, I believe I can build in Russia and move all this in, I'm stacked against Germany from being able to win on G6 at least. So we're actually in a decent situation. Now, what I'm not going to do is take France with the UK. Because if I take France with the UK, he'll get a warning when you're only 1 victory city short of losing. You get this warning that pops up and says, hey, watch out, you're only 1 victory city away from losing. And then he's going to go, oh, and come back and realize that, hey, I need to stack back there. So we're going to use the UK to come in here and trade instead. We're going to trade off Baltic and Northwest Europe, and we're going to leave, since Japan can't hit this transporter anyway, we're going to leave this transport to come down to take France with US instead. Which, even if we blitz the tank, back and forth, and then take the infantry down there just to take the 6 IPC, I'd appreciate US having it anyways, as we got to build stacks down here. So that's what we're looking at. I mean, it's a lot of stuff I just wanted to cover real quick there and going through it. So I was working on my purchase here. So one thing I do want is I'm building a bomber to go in India as a backup in case my infantry does not hit in defense. We're going ahead and building a bomber to back him up. Then I'm not going to use my tank. And actually, I'm just going to use my 2 infantry. So we need 4 infantry built. 2 to replace the 2 I'm going to use for taking these guys. And then we need 2 in India with the bomber. So that's my minimum build. So now I've got 12 IPC fun to build. So what I'm going to do there is we're going to take away and put a tank in here for blitzing back over this way. And I actually think we're going to do a couple of them there. So we're going to do 2 tanks and a bomber here. And the reason being is I'm going to stack into here. We're going to start having UK push this way right now while I got a little bit of time, so we can really put pressure on this factory if this game goes on. because he's got no transports left. All he has is 3 infantry, a tank, and all this air that he could hit it with. I'm going to put, you know, at least 4 units and an AA in there, and I'm willing to do that. Because then we also have the US starting to pick people off if needed. So what do I want to spend my other 6 IPC on is the question. You know, if I only want 1 tank, I could actually go ahead and get a 3rd. You know what? I think we're going to go ahead and do that. Actually, now as I talk it through, let's go ahead and get another transport out here. He's got no, it's a freebie. I can put him wherever I want because this fighter can't reach out here. These fighters are way over here, so it's free territory up here right now. All right, so now we're back to an infantry and artillery, and that gives me 2. Still have 3, 4, 5 units, or my other transport can always come back and pick up these guys next turn. So we don't need to change those artillery because we don't have that many. We're already balanced here, and we'd be balanced there, so we're just going to save that other 2 IPC. I'd be interested to read in the comments how many other people have other ideas of what I should have done on this turn, if any. I'm certainly getting creative in my play this game, this turn. This whole game, I should say, is more correct. Anything else? I don't see anything else. Alright, we got to hit that artillery for sure, and then we want no hitbacks. Alright, there we go. Got our bad dice out of the way. Alright, here we go. Most important thing is to get a hit. There we go. And then he misses. Yes, good. He's got the 1 fighter, but I got my 2 destroyers that I'm going to be able to bring in here. So we'll be okay there. Push him forward. Go ahead and bring him on back. We're going to bring our subs over to work on a dead zone of the med since the US had this pretty well handled over here. Now, do I want to pull 1 fighter back and actually entice him to go there? Let me see what it looks like. We're going to pull this up. I'm sending everything looks like there. So we're going to have 5 fighters in there. If he sends a tank and 4 fighters and a bomber. Yeah, we're gonna leave him all there. He has a 60% chance to win and survive with the tank, but he'll waste all the rest of his air. So we're just gonna put them all in there, and we're gonna leave him in there. I'm always happy for UK to trade with Japan. All right, we'll see what he does. Do you want my bomber here? I want a tank here. I want an infantry here. We'll throw a couple infantry up here. And we're going to put one here just because he can come down to Africa in case of need. There we go. All right, crew. So looks like he went for it. Looks like he failed. Looks like he left Shanghai wide open. And France is wide open. I'm at 8 victory cities. So that should give me the 10 and the win. I always, just in case I did something goofy, I always go ahead and build, like I'm going to anyway. So I got an industry, a fighter, and 7 land. 3 for the Philippines, 2 for here, where this transport's going to go here. He can come here, grab them, come back. And then 2 for this side, where we're going to drop some people off. And he can come back and grab them and come back down again next turn. So, all intents and purposes, it does appear this game should be over. That should make 9. And that should make 10. Again, nothing is in here. 1 versus nothing. But just in case, we'll go ahead and grab in here. And grabbing there. And grabbing there. And that should finalize the game for the VC snipe. Green, green, 10 out of 10. So, game over. Again, remember this all just started with that opener. It's extremely strong. Unfortunately, one of the viewers in Discord did text me that he had the same situation come up. He tried it. C-Zone 37 went absolutely horrible. Unfortunately, I mean, that is a risk, but as we showed, it's a 70% chance to go good enough for what we want. But that does mean 30% chance can go downhill, in which case you got to switch to the KGF and prepare for India 3. Unfortunately, his was so bad, he's going to be in deep trouble as it is. So, um, it works. And, if he hadn't done anything, he was going to be in deep trouble anyways. So, uh, it's not like a huge deal, but, you got to choose your risks, right? Basically, I'm just playing. I probably don't need to. I don't need to do all this. I get hypersensitive that the game's gonna goof up and not realize it. I know it's stupid. It's crazy. Um, I don't care. I just like to go ahead and take my turn just in case I goofed anything up. That should be victory. All right, there we go. On to game 7. We'll check out real quick. I always do like to see who I was playing there. Let's see game history. Of course, it'll take a while till my rank updates. That's what we're just doing. Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, I did see that he had some intelligent plays in there, but he completely missed the victory city there, or he realized he's already in the doghouse and not arguing up. But platinum Axis player, 74% win rate's not bad. Finished top 59 last year in Axis. Yeah, he's been pretty regular platinum player here. So season 7 was his coming in here. So he learned quickly and he's done well. So all right, well, hopefully that'll end up bumping us up a little bit, and then we'll see the next game. So that takes us to the 6-0. And again, this takes an hour to update, so I'll update it at the start of the next game for you guys. There we go.